welcome back, Divine Feminine. We're here to do your psychic read for the last week of the month. Now, this does look like it has ebbs and flows. It definitely does look as though you're kind of in this movement at the moment that you are moving through a physical shift. Now, this is both relating to your life as well as your twin flame path. And it's interesting because as we look to your crowning energy, there is this frequency you're having towards your counterpart, but I also feel it is to do with where you feel in your life you need to protect yourself. So it is your inner masculine. It is also the subjects relating to masculine energies. Now we have God of protection. This can be that you are more protective of yourself during this time. This can be you're asking your guides to protect you. It also can be that you are feeling instinctually you need to move towards dealing with some circumstances in a particular fashion. But we are going to get further into this. And again, take the messages as they land. I do get the significant feeling that there is a notion of balance really relating to, it could be a physical contract, it may be a physical relationship, and especially with hierarchy and situations around you, this is a pivotal turning point. And I do feel with that previous moon lunation we just moved through, we are still implementing those things as we do transition into August. So I'm seeing this to be quite significant. You're going to leave the dust in the past. It does feel as though you're moving through a door. You're having to have courage, but you're trying to put, I would say, the footings down in areas of your life to make sure that you are in the safest possible position you can be, especially where it relates to love, wealth, and more. Now, as we look to the past position, we do have Goddess of Nurture. Now, I feel spiritually and psychically that this can be deeply reflective of the past, the seeds that you planted, what you're really looking for in a connection, and really maybe thinking back to, did you get all that you needed? And is your viewpoint of relationships point blank zero the same? So there is this nurturing and being gentle with yourself, because a lot of times, yes, we can inadvertently attract, situations into our life. And they are due to patterns. It's not that we're bad people, we're human. We grow, we learn. So we might have had some synchronistic things happen in our life where it was repeating patterns, repeating styles of having connections and relationships. And I do think we this month may have been quite traditional in our viewpoints, but really going over those old grounds and reviewing whether they were now relevant to us in the here and now moving forward. So I do think you're being gentle on yourself. I feel you need to be gentle on yourself. I also do feel you're tuning into and meditating upon what are we wanting to invest in and how do we want to plant those seeds. So I think you're going through a spiritual recovery and you're trying to wonder if the past can come back with the seeds that you did plant. But as we do move into the heart of this, you could be really battling with the circumstance of your twin flame. Or it could be that your notion is this person needs to work a lot harder. This person needs to be moving towards you in a different fashion. Now, I'm also feeling you could be tuning into this person and actually picking up that they are moving through, you could say, an ascension process. It's almost like they're coming from the dark night of the soul and they're the phoenix rising. And it can be that they're actually being more opinionated towards karmic cycles, maybe a bit more defiant. You can be picking it up through your dream state. But there is this battle energy. It's almost like Mars, the planet of war. So there is this perseverance for, and victory is assured, although in your heart space you may not believe such. Now, I'm also seeing, okay, so we have Goddess of Endurance. It's a 9, and it's funny because we do have Jupiter in Gemini, which, can be to do with our spiritual beliefs, our actions, our words, our feelings, our logic. So intellectually, we can be going into Yeah, mental entanglement and, trying to gain a true perspective. And like I said, a lot of us were reflecting upon very traditional viewpoints. So this in the mix, especially with Jupiter and Gemini, can have us again looking at things with fine tooth comb, where it does come to these perceptions. With you, especially from a karmic position, I am seeing that there could be an ending to this. Now, again, a lot of times, because you are a twin flame, you will pick up on things psychically. You will either have dream states, you can have signs and synchronicities coming to you. It's almost like you'll have a download and you'll feel it to the true core of you. It's almost like you're going to get a message via the telephone. And there can be something going down between, and this is more for those that are in a karmic relationship. Those that aren't in a karmic relationship, a lot of times from a psychological point of view, they're actually coming to terms with the past, and there's been some blockages, and we all know what blockages are like. They can be like an onion peel. We're peeling each layer away to the point that we feel safe enough to transcend. And I do see Divine Feminine going through this, where you were deeply, deeply protective of yourself. I do see you coming out of that, Darls, but I see it in a more productive way. So when we are feeling vulnerable, at risk, almost like somebody can come in and sabotage us, once we see that viewpoint in a different way, we actually see our personal power. And those wounds can become, I could say weapons, but in a positive way, not in a negative way. So I do see you're going to be able to endure your transformation. And like I said, I did see you guys going through a tunnel, so it's moving through a shift. And I see this transformation becoming less defensive, becoming open, moving into a personal transformation. You also could feel that you want to change a hell of a lot of things in your life. There is somebody who is going to stand the test of time. I don't think it's the karmic. I'll be perfectly honest. I do feel there can be a lot of separations coming up this month, moving into August. So for some of you, you can hear this information through the grapevine. And I do feel it's almost like the history between you and your counterpart is there, but separately, you can be questioning yourself. Now, when we do tune into karmic energies, we accidentally can tune into them and their thoughts. So some of these thoughts may not even be yours. They can be another person's. And that's why it's very important to clear your energy, and especially to look after yourself during Neptune retrograde. Now, okay, it's funny. We've gone from transcendence, top row, going through an evolution. It literally looks like a lotus flower, standing up and evolving through that kind of shift. And then we get into the surrender energy. And it's funny because it's number 10. And I do feel where it does come to the relationship, I feel you're going to come into some balance. I feel you're going to start going with the flow with this. But you also feel you're going to find your balance in these uncharted waters. You also could feel that by doing this, it's funny, it's almost like we can have a major breakthrough and then spiritually we can have a dissension. There is this grief that comes up. It is because it's a release, so it's actually quite a compliment. It means you've moved through a blockage. I do feel you're going to proceed forward, and you're going to remain, I can say you're going to remain balanced, but generally, like I said, when we do move through a blockage, where it does come to this, we can all of a sudden have a slight purge. Now, I am going to come back, and any unresolved feelings can crop up, but it's the final release, so to speak. Like I said, you're moving through a shift. Okay, where it does come to, it's almost like detaching from spirituality, and this is a really good time to actually connect in. This could be anything to the degree of having faith in the divine. Things generally, in a sense, we could manifest, and then we could look at the 3D and go, well, how the heck is that what I manifested? That's not what I manifested. Why is it happening like that? It is because we need to release when we manifest. So in the 3D, initially, we may not see those changes. And due to that, we can go into a spiraling energy where we ascend, we do descend, but it is to purge the old, to be open to the new, so that your new chapter can come in. And I do feel this is a portal that a lot of you are in spiritual preparation to receive union energy. We do have Goddess of Wisdom, and I do feel after this, I do feel you are going to have this light body experience. And I feel this light body experience is kind of opening your heart chakra up, and it's prepping you for August, especially because August can be quite heavy. However, I do see this significant month really being such that is changing us, moving into the core, moving into lineage, correcting our foundations, aiding us with rest and recuperation, because we had Saturn and Neptune retrograde. This is where you are going to, once you can clear that and move beyond the ego. I'm noticing the owl with the outcome card, and this owl is going to be a messenger. It's going to provide you with the occult wisdom. It is a force, so it can be to do with family and home, your inner child energy. If you do want to move that kind of through being creative, being artistic, doing dance, really moving through the hips, that's going to move any blockages, and it's going to aid you feeling more in harmony and balance. You can use particular gems. Go and research them. That can, again, for courage and confidence, I would say citrine for detox as well. I do feel some of you are moving through, the purge can be actually dropping fluid off you at the moment. So, because I'm noticing the abdomen quite predominantly in this image, and it's usually my guides will get me to really hone in on a particular area. It's like you're cutting something off, but it's almost like you have a fresh slate. And this fresh slate is going to be the template of your new physical foundation and your future. And it's funny, we do have a sort of like a shield off to the right. And it literally looks like Medusa's head that's been cut off and it's been cast to the side. I feel you're protected. I feel that you are going to be given tip-offs and you need to trust your intuition. But I do directly feel this is coming full 180. Let's have a look at the clarifiers and what additional messages we have for the Divine Feminine. Okay, I also feel Divine Masculine as being very protective towards you, whether you can see this individual or not. They do have friendly feelings towards you, so it's not... they're not coming in with the intent to harm you or hurt you. They're actually looking at you from a perspective of being very protective. They are also aware of third-party influences that maybe were negative in notion. This can be people maybe placing thoughts in their heads, etc. They're, again, very protective of this. So nothing anyone is saying is really changing their mind on how they feel towards the Divine Feminine this month. Okay, don't be surprised if you are shifting things about, and it can be quite suddenly. The reason is, I would say, you are noticing what is and isn't working, what is and isn't resonating with you. And don't freak out that just because you're changing things, everything's ever so final. It's more you're feeling right now in this portal is that such is necessary. This is going to make you feel more at home. This can be to do with a physical location for some of you. I also feel some breakthroughs with family are going to occur. And I also feel with masculines with karmic cycles. Yeah. This person also, they're showing me, is no longer wanting to battle with a karmic third-party energy. This does feel like wrap up, and also feel Divine Feminine is quite fed up. It's like, look, I'm not doing that. If that's your fight, that's your, that's your battle. I'm tapping out here. This person needs to be addressed, and I feel Divine Masculine is feeling exactly the same. They also know nothing they do for this situation is working. It hasn't done for a while. Okay, so they're dropping out of that. They're like, yep, total agreement with you. that needs to change. Oh, okay. Okay, this also is almost like if you felt at some point you'd been friend-zoned, that chapter's come to an end. That no longer resonates, not with either party here in the mix. There is a change happening within Divine Feminine, really owning and knowing what their worth is. And, you know, friends are friends, but, you know, if you're wanting so much more, so at a base level, you're accepting the fact that you are wanting a physical relationship. Some of you can be picking up some of your ascension connected to your twin, so just be really careful. Again, this because you're going through a shift, they also are going through the shift, and it can be happening simultaneously or a week later. But I do feel some aches and pains and emotional feelings. I'm seeing the clarifier as divine masculine when it does come to this transcendence. They're feeling it, you're feeling it, but that you're both going to go through this shift, so you're not alone in this. Oh, good. Okay, some of you are cord cutting the wrong individual. Yes, I totally empathize and understand. Some of you are actually wanting to cut cords with twin. Usually the only thing really that will cut will be a karmic cycle. And yes, you can then purge. The commitment and the soul path in this is it's pre-written, so you're going to have a soul path with this person. There's going to be ins and outs, there's going to be transitions, there's going to be lessons, and then there can be union. So cord cutting, it's a bit like an astrology. Can we skip steps? Yes, we can with healing. Can we actually reach union faster? Yes, by moving into surrender. And this individual here in the mix is moving into surrender. It's almost like being faithful to your soul path, but it's like faithful to you're working through this so you can have the best possible life. Yeah, any old residue situations can crop up. I do feel for some of you, you may have had a surprise this month. And this surprise is ending a chapter, and it's very separate to your twin, but it's also opening the door to your twin. So if there's something if there is something exiting your life, please trust the process. I know this sounds really bizarre, but they're saying what goes makes room for new. You are heading in a new direction, like the Fool card in Tarot. And I do think this is positive, but during the time, my loves, this might not feel so positive. But they're saying it's almost like a confirmation that if this is to happen, what they're wanting you to know is it is actually making room for the door to open. Okay, a lot of heart chakra healing. And I do feel at the last minute there is a possibility. Look, you do have union, okay? You do have the marriage card. This is... You've learned a lot to do with relationships, you know, the old style, the new styles of having connections. You're moving into a new style of connection. This is going to be something very, very spiritual, something where the individual is working with you. And I do feel, like I said, big changes moving through a portal. Be prepared. If you do want the next edition and the following month's update, come through and join a YouTube membership. It does hold all the perks, as well as it is ad-free content. Now, we do have super chats as scheduled, so keep an eye on it and keep up to date with all the content coming. If you haven't subscribed, we'd love to see you again. Take care, and I'll see you soon.